If you're watching this video, chances are you know there's this show called Supergirl. And practically anyone who knows me knows I love the character of Supergirl. So knowing this, most would assume I'm a huge fan of her self-titled television series. I thought I would be too. Hey everyone, I'm Maeden. When I initially heard the announcement that Supergirl would be headlining her own series, I was really dubious due to DC's track record of inconsistency and mishandling of her character in various media. However, once I saw the first trailer, I was pleasantly surprised and willing to look past some minor issues, like using her Kryptonian first name instead of the already established identity of Linda Danvers, and just focus on what seemed like a great overall tone, character development in moving Kara past her naive teen years, and a practical costume. Not surprisingly, I ended up really enjoying Season 1. I wasn't enthused by the inter-office drama or her romantic arc with Jimmy, but I enjoyed the various alien species presented and the revelations of life on Krypton, albeit wishing we'd seen more of the latter. The guest appearance by Smallville's Supergirl, Laura Vandervoort, made for a fun passing of the torch moment, and it was encouraging to see some familiar faces from the comics making appearances. That said, the introductions of Red Tornado and Lucy Lane seemed to have been forgotten and left as dangling threads. While the pilot season and Season 2 opener teased escalating intrigue, familiar characters, and Kara owning her independence, that all came crashing to a halt faster than a ship from Daxam. With the introduction of Chris Wood's out-of-character portrayal of Mon-El, the show's tone took a sharp turn downhill. With many episodes focused largely on him and his forced, problematic romance with Kara, there was little time left for intriguing plot lines or room for our hero to grow. When she should have been developing and taking on new and bigger challenges, we were watching her slow down so he could keep up with the basics. Of course, supporting characters should have their own story arcs and development. But with Mon-El, Alex and Maggie, and John and McGann all taking on prominent plots of their own, the series became filled with more interpersonal drama than superheroic action. And the action we did see was far from original. Season 2 also saw the beginning of a disappointing trend. Kara has become oddly and unrealistically similar to Clark. Consider this. A reporter with a dorky secret identity is best friends with and keeping their secret from Elle Luthor, and battling a Kryptonian engineered destroyer who thought they were human for most of their life. The fact this accurately describes both Superman and the current Supergirl is a prime example of the series' lax and unoriginal writing. It's as if the writers wanted to make a Superman show instead, and assume they can simply recycle his traits and plots, ignorant of the fact that Kara is and should be an entirely different person. The Season 3 finale is not helping with this. It's no secret that DC has a long history of inconsistency when it comes to Supergirl. Whereas Superman has been known universally as Clark Kent, Supergirl has had at least 7 different pseudonyms. And from 1988 to 2004, the person or persons in the role of Supergirl were not Kara Zor-El. While there is merit in saying her malleable existence is a good thing, as it allows flexibility and reinvention, which many other characters aren't allowed, the only reason she has said flexibility is because no one seems to have written a good enough story for her to stick to. Or if they have, it was eventually mishandled or discontinued, and the following reboot then veered in a completely different direction. One thing that has been consistent though, at least in her Kryptonian incarnations, is the fact she spent most, if not all, of her formative years on Krypton. And while Supergirl does have Kara arriving on Earth at a younger age, she still spent the first half of her life on an advanced planet and visiting other worlds. It makes complete sense for Kal-El to want to live a human life, as it's all he's ever known. It doesn't make sense for Kara to be content living as an entirely different species which uses, as a true Supergirl once put it,
ancient technology.
She should also be allowed to showcase the intellect that comes with a Kryptonian education, instead of pretending Winn is always the smartest person in the room when it comes to tech and science. Another disappointment is how this allegedly grown woman continuously acts like the naive teenager Kara has typically been depicted as. Joining her story already in her mid-20s, one would imagine most of her moody attitude and bratty personality would be past her. She may be new to being a hero, but the slew of lesson episodes make me wonder why she's still learning the basics of how to treat others, especially when she has lived full-time as a human for over a decade now. At this point, a change in direction is unlikely. In an attempt to make her palatable to everyone, the Supergirl showrunners have stripped Kara of a unique identity and made her unrecognizable to her biggest fans. People who've discovered Supergirl through the series know her as basically a female Superman, instead of the brilliant, confident, original character she is. It's not impossible to improve on, though. With so many other planets existing in her universe, it would be both logical and much more interesting to shift her into the role of an interplanetary ambassador, possibly still based on and operating from Earth to keep her supporting characters involved, but put the focus back on Kara and who she is independent of anyone else. She doesn't need to constantly have a relationship plot to be interesting, though as this is the CW, it's a hard thing for anyone to avoid. I'll keep watching, hoping, but lately all I'm doing is shaking my head in disappointment. I think it speaks volumes when someone who has been essentially obsessed with Supergirl for the better part of a decade and only knew of Black Lightning by name is much more interested in watching the CW's Black Lightning than Supergirl. So those are just a few of my thoughts on Supergirl. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments below. You can also check out more videos over here, and don't forget to subscribe down here and click the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching, and as always, we hope to see you on the con floor.